Hello YouTube, Kingpin of Cinema here, and with my good buddy the QB999, and we're here to give you our thoughts on the newest Magic the Gathering set, Rise of the Eldrazi, though we are a bit late on this one.
A lot of people did not agree with our review of the previous set.
Oh no, they basically called us fucking morons on that one, though we were pretty much right. You know who you are.
But overall, in this complete set, we like it.
Yeah, it's actually pretty goddamn fucking fantastic.
It's what the second set should have been. It's a big set with lots of new mechanics completely brought in.
They kind of did something kind of new. They almost went the Lorwyn, Shadowmoor route, in that you had, two sets, and then the next part was completely different. I know they're not going to do a sequel to this one, but you had...
Just with how different it is... Yeah, it seems like it would be its own block.
Yeah, they basically dropped all the previous abilities, Kicker and Multi-Kicker, and introduced a whole new race of creatures, new land pictures, and a whole new abilities as well.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through some of the cards that we liked and didn't like. Most of them, just about all of them we liked.
Honestly, I couldn't think of a single card I didn't like in this set.
And, as we go through each card, we'll talk about some of the new mechanics that each of those cards bring in.
Alright.
So the first card I wanted to talk about was Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn. This is one of the new tribes, the Eldrazi. It is a 15/15 flying for 15 that can't be countered. When it comes into play, you get an extra turn. It has protection from colored spells. And Annihilator 4.
No, it's Annihilator 6.
Annihilator 6. Okay, so this brings in some of the new stuff. First off, the Eldrazi. The whole thing with Eldrazi is just big fucking creatures. As big as you can with very high costs.
Yeah, this 15/15 costs 15, but as intimidating that casting cost sounds, it's actually really not all that hard to get him out and play.
We'll bring that up later. And as for the Annihilator ability, that's a new thing, specific to Eldrazi, that whenever they attack, your opponent has to sacrifice that many permanents as to its Annihilator ability. So if it's Annihilator 6, when it attacks, that's 6 of your permanents gone. Creatures, lands, whatever.
Yeah, and with Annihilator 6 and a 15/15 flying at you, that's almost game right there. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and kick off with my first guy, Kuzlik, Butcher of Truth. These fucking names are... goddamn. Excuse me if I'm, pronouncing him wrong. It's just... Couldn't they just call it Steve, the Butcher of Truth? Come on. But anyhow, what does this guy do? Well, he's a 12/12 that costs 10. When he comes into play, you draw 4 cards, Annihilator 4, and when he dies, you shuffle him and your whole graveyard back into your deck, effectively making this guy pretty much getting rid of... You can't really get rid of him, unless you, remove him from play somehow. But, Jesus, I think he's slightly better than the 15/15, just because of the fact you can get him out and play faster.
Yeah, there's plenty of strong Eldrazi. Some of these guys are even common and uncommon.
And you basically need to use the uncommon ones, or the common ones in order to get these guys out. Basically, the whole strategy of Eldrazi is that you play little minion 01 that sacrifice and give you 1 mana. You just get a mass of these bitches out, sacrifice them all to get the big guys out. And it's not that hard.
Right. My next card is Drake Umbra. I think it's a 5-costing blue enchantment that gives a creature +3/+3 in flying. But, a simple enchantment, but its big thing is Totem Armor, which is a new thing for all the enchantments in this set.
And
Totem Armor basically protects the creature from being destroyed. What happens is if the creature would be destroyed, you instead destroy the enchantment that's connected to it, and the creature remains unharmed.
So basically what that means is that Totem Armor is insanely good, and I really like that ability. It seems like it's one of those things they should have had all this time. My next one is Deathless Angel. It's a 5/7 flying, tap 2 white, target creature becomes indestructible. And it's not a tap ability, so you can keep using it to make all your guys indestructible. And that's pretty damn useful.
Alright, for my third card, it's Cast Through Time. It's another card that brings into play one of the new mechanics. It's a blue enchantment that gives all your instants and sorceries rebound. Now, Rebound is a new ability where once you play a spell, you remove it from the game, and during your next turn, during your upkeep, you get to play it again for no cost.
Rebound! Hello!
So this can add a new mechanic to many different spells and abilities. It's a new one. It's kind of like a different kind of replicate, or...
It's good. The only problem with it is that it seems like a lot of the Rebound cards have kind of high costs for kind of like generic kind of abilities. But overall, I like the idea behind it, and I hope they do more with it.
It's kind of like a free flashback is what it is.
Yeah, pretty much. My number 3 is Lighthouse Chronologist. And now this brings in yet another new ability, Level Up. Now, just a bit of a side note, Level Up came about, was an idea that kind of came around in Eventide with the card, the Spirit Avatar that...
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but it's the
I'm completely blanking on that one.
The Kithkin that would gradually get stronger and stronger
the more you paid for it. And basically, the guy that created that card was doing this whole set. But how it works is you pay a certain cost, say like 2, and then when you pay 2, okay, you level up 1, so you put a counter on it. And depending how high his level is, gives the monster additional abilities. Like there's one that gives him like Death Touch and First Strike. But Chronologist, in this instance, you get an extra turn on your opponent's turn, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So in a multiplayer match, you're getting new turns constantly. So he's one that's definitely worth using in multiplayer.
It's kind of like a different version of multi-kicker, but in our eyes, much better and much more practical.
Yeah, the Level Up is a hell of a lot better than multi-kicker. Multi-kicker is one of those things that really sucked.
Okay.
So we're gonna cut this off into a part 2 to give you our final 4.